Is our speaker tonight, and her speech is entitled Get What You Paid For.
Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, why do we join Toastmasters? That is a question that I get a lot now when I tell people that I belong to the organization. When I was at a training a couple weeks ago, I did a speech and let people know that I was a Toastmaster and it changed my life. And after the speech, people came up to me, how do I become a Toastmaster? What did you learn? Why did you join? And I had the fun of telling them. And also in their group, there were fellow Toastmasters, and there's that camaraderie among us, and we were high-fiving, and it was a great time to connect with Toastmasters. We're finishing up our training right now for club officers, and one of the trainings is about clubs and why people join Toastmasters. And the theme of her speech is getting what you paid for. Because Toastmasters is a very reasonably priced organization. If you join networking groups throughout the year, you can pay hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars to be part of mastermind groups or networking groups. Other groups don't provide the opportunity to grow not only as a speaker, but in leadership roles. And that's the nice thing about Toastmasters. When I joined, I thought I was just going to be learning how to speak in front of groups. I didn't realize that there was another component. The one-on-one is one that I really needed, and when I found out that that was part of Toastmasters, it even drew me in closer. But there was another component that I found out about a year in, which was leadership. How come nobody tells people about Toastmasters and leadership? Nobody knows. And so I was going around my group and letting them know at this training that not only do we get the practice of speaking, but we get the practice of leadership as well. I want you to go back and think about the first time you heard about Toastmasters. Was it, I need to work on my public speaking, I need to feel comfortable in front of a group? I had always felt comfortable speaking in front of 100 people as long as they weren't my words. But if I knew that they had to say something that I was thinking, that was going to be very difficult for me. Especially if it were with somebody one-on-one, and I thought maybe they just had a little bit more power in society than I did, I would freeze. In job interviews, that was just one of the toughest things that I had to do. Or to communicate with somebody one-on-one and get my point across. How many of you have left a conversation and 10 minutes later think of everything that you wanted to say? Toastmasters gives you that opportunity to practice those things. Now, when you went back and thought about when you first heard about Toastmasters, did you think that it was going to be what it was when you got to the group? Or was that meeting completely different? I know when I came to my first meeting of Cascade Speakeasy, I had known one person in the community that was a Toastmaster, and that's why I came. Because his vocabulary was filled with ums and ahs. And I figured if he was still in Toastmasters, that I could come down. And there's a few members here that can attest that my vocabulary was mostly ums and ahs when I first joined. But it gave me the confidence to move forward in Toastmasters, knowing that they hadn't kicked him out. And then I also heard this story from my father a long time ago when he had joined Toastmasters, and I didn't know that he had joined it, but I remember this story about the ums and hearing this clang of a quarter every time you said it. And I thought that when I went to Toastmasters, I would be hearing clink, 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 because that was what my vocabulary was full of if I had to speak one-on-one with somebody. I don't know why it was that fear, but it was just within me. And like I said, a year later, Lloyd said, this competent leader, it's quite easy to get through. You just follow this sheet, and it tells you how to do it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I followed it, and you get through it quite easy. There's a couple things that are a little bit more tasking, but you can get through that confident leader very quickly. And I challenge each of you next week to bring your confident leader if you have not completed that. And pass it to your neighbor and say, could you evaluate me on my role? You would be amazed at how quickly you can get through that manual. And for some of you, you could probably get through that manual a lot quicker than you're getting through your confident communicator. If you look at your confident communicator, there's 10 speeches. That's less than a year if you do one a month. Think about that. Can I do one speech a month? It's possible. Sometimes we don't like it. Some months are a lot harder, especially in those fall months and Christmas months when all those family things are going on. But you can do it. Think about that. If I do one speech a month, by this time next year, I will have completed one of my tasks in Toastmasters. Think about your individual goals, and then think about our club goals. We do have the Distinguished Club Program, which is 10 items that as a club we need to collectively do. And our club, I would say, is the largest club in our district, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, Lloyd? I'm thinking
Top 3 or 4.
top 3 or 4. We've got 63 clubs, I think, right now. But if we all just complete either our confident leader or our confident communicator or one of the advanced manuals, and our leadership for our club officers attend trainings, and we always get our club dues paid on time, thank you, Eric, and we always get our club list of officers, thank you, Lloyd, always put in. We've already got 2 checks. I know that as a group, we can be Distinguished Club Program again. And I'm certain that it'll be presidents because we're just that awesome. But go back and think about what your why was of why you joined Toastmasters. And think, what is the goal this next year that I want to accomplish? Last year, one of my goals was to finish my Distinguished Toastmaster. And I did that. My 3-year goal, as some of you have heard, is to become an accredited speaker. And to become an accredited speaker, you have to give a lot of speeches. And unfortunately, it can't all be to your club. I thank you all for listening to my 50-some-odd speeches for my DTM, but you're not going to have to listen to too many more for the accredited speaker situation. But if you know any organizations that need speakers, think of your fellow Toastmasters. Sometimes there is something that is our expertise, and we would love to share that with your group. And let people know what it is that you do and like to talk about. And maybe we can connect up. I know within my training group now, we have an organization, and we've fled back emails back and forth of, we need somebody to talk about this, we need somebody for this, and we work together. And I think as a club in the Wenatchee area, we can do that as well. So think, what can you do and what would you like to get out of Toastmasters? Because it's not a volunteer organization like they like to call it. You are paying for this experience, so get the most out of it. This is Toastmasters.